we're talking about $100,000. This in no manner, shape, or form is going to, this 100,000, whether the mayor prevails or whether the majority of the council prevails, this is not going to give you any relief, certainly not in the short term. We would basically have to deplete a surplus of $3 million before this 100,000 will make a difference. Why is this important, at least to me and I think two other council members? Because we are taking money from utilities that are supposed to be self-sustaining. What the DCA told me, because I called them because I was concerned about this practice, the DCA said, as long as you document it, and in fact, to prove their point, we are all agreeing to take out $451,000 of surplus from our utilities. Why? Because our CFO, Anthony Menino, documented it. He explained that dollars should have been charged in past years. They weren't. We are allowed to recoup them. And you know what? The DCA said we had to amend our budget, as you heard the CFO say 3 times. 2 of those times were just because of the way we were labeling these surplus transfers. But they said we can do it, and guess what? The entire council is agreeing. $451,000, moving it from these 2 utilities, surpluses, to our current fund to help our residents defray future costs. However, 100,000, 50,000 in each of these utilities is not documented. The DCA told me personally, don't do this unless you document. Because of that, I've had numerous conversations with people on this council, a couple with the CFO, and in every instance, I said this part of it, 50 and 50, is not documented. We should not do this. I've explained to the mayor, I think there was 1 week, a couple of weeks ago, I sent an email a day saying, I personally cannot vote for this if we leave this 100,000 in. And when the mayor says as a matter of principle, don't vote on principle, I honestly believe the only reason he's not willing to concede this $100,000 is out of his own principle. He wants to win. And I'm very disappointed because if not for this $100,000, I think, we'll not only know when we vote, but I think the entire council would be willing to pass this budget. But I've asked the mayor repeatedly for over a month, copying the rest of the council, he will not give ground on $100,000. So with the DCA telling me they need documentation, I'm not prepared to vote for this unless we remove the $100,000.
So I'll just make a couple of comments because I really don't want to get into a back and forth on this. If we were supposed to be documenting to the Nat's eyelash, I'll call it, transfers from our surpluses, I guess I question why it hasn't been done the last 5 budgets. That would be one point. Second point is, I know that Councilman Gubitosi said that he's talked to DCA, but a couple of times as he's talked to DCA, when Anthony validated what was said, it was a little bit different. And I'm not saying he is fabricating stuff, I'm just saying that maybe he just didn't hear it the way that financial people would hear it. So just a couple of points on that. When we talk about this $3 million surplus, there's a couple of things that are looming out there that people aren't aware of, maybe they're aware of, but they might not be aware of the cost. We've been in the throes of a couple of emergencies. One is the outflow pipe on Sylvan Lake. We're thinking that that cost is going to be in the neighborhood of $3 million.
Plus surplus.
I'm sorry?
Plus surplus.
Yeah. We split that with Avon and we hope to get aid to do that. We don't have that aid right now. So the reason we have surpluses is for things like that. And that's a significant cost. That could be a very significant cost. We also have some retirements coming up that we're going to have to pay out. One is happening this week, Captain Zula. That's not a small cost, and we're going to have to go into the surplus for that. And we live in a shore town.
3 years.
I know it's over 3 years, but still, the number is not a small number. And you know, I don't want to say that the shore town is more susceptible to emergencies because I don't want to jinx us. But you know, things happen. You know, we had a pretty significant event about 10 years ago, and yes, we got a lot of aid, but you have to have funds to cover yourself up front. So I'm not trying to win or lose. I'm trying to project the best budget I can. And I think we've done that. I am disappointed with some of the things we've reduced because I think we did need some capability in some areas. But I think it's a good budget. When I look at what the taxpayer will benefit from this, I think it's great. You know, we averaged about $200,000. I had the number here somewhere. Increases in the last 2 years, and here it is. I'm sorry, 228 all in the last 2 years. In the prior 2 years before that, going back year 3 and 4, our average increase of everything that goes into our taxes was about $689,000. So we've reduced the level of spend over those couple of years by basically 2/3. Now, has some of that been moving some surplus? Yeah, it has. But as I said before, we hold a significant amount of the taxpayers' money in surplus. I don't think we're not taking any crazy moves here. I think it's prudent, and I think our taxpayers deserve the best budget they can get. So that's not what I've attempted to do. I haven't tried to win or lose. I've just tried to project the best. And when I talk about principle is something that doesn't change. Positions change. Principles don't. If we've had surplus shifts in the last 5 budgets and voted on those, I wouldn't call that a principle change. I'd say you're just changing your position. So